Welcome back to Man vs. Meeple, the show where we talk about everything board game related. Today we're going to be bringing you a preview of a brand new upcoming game called Cobras by Cardboard Edison. It is a trick-taking game, David.
Yeah.
And a cool one at that.
Yeah, this is a clever little trick-taking game.
Absolutely.
I'll get right to the punch, unlike most trick-taking games, you're not really taking tricks and scoring your points from the tricks themselves.
Right.
You have to manage this basket of cobras that each player has in front of them and try to get rid of your cobras at just the right time to maximize your score.
Right.
You do that by winning a trick,
right.
but you're also wanting to try to lose tricks at the same time. That's what makes this game interesting to me.
Absolutely. So the game is played over a number of rounds until one player has 100 points. At the beginning of the game, each of the players will get a basket in front of them, and the basket shows the number of points you get when you win a trick and turn in cobras.
Right.
The number of cobras that you're turning in is on the left, and the point values are on the right. Now, the trick is 7 is the magical number.
Yeah, you want to balance it just right, and you want to win a trick when you have 7 cobras in your basket. That way you get 21 points.
Right.
You know, if you have 6 or 8, you're going to have 15 points, and then so on and so forth, from all the way back down to 1 up to 10 plus. You only get 3 points, maybe even 1 point.
That's right. So at the start of the game, you're going to take the entire deck of cards and you're going to deal them out to all the players. So each player gets the exact same number of cards. Any extras are just placed into the center of the table.
Right.
Those are cards that you have no idea what they are. The cards themselves, there's 4 different suits, which are arranged by colors, and they number from 1 to 13.
Yes.
At the very beginning of the round, each player is going to pick one of their cards of their choice, and they're going to all reveal it at the same time. So we have a 4-player game set up here, and each player will reveal a card. This is going to determine how many cobras they have in their basket at the start of the round. This is only done at the start of each of the rounds.
Right. For example, Jeremy would get 2 cobras. This player would get 2 cobras, and then myself and this other player would get 3 cobras to start the round.
So you're looking at the cobras on the cards, not the actual numbers themselves.
And the interesting thing about this decision is you're giving up this card for the rest of the game. So if you give up a really high card in any one given suit, particularly a 13, you're giving up a potentially guaranteed trick. Potentially. So you want to really be careful. And then, of course, the lower number cards have 1 cobra on them, and then those high numbered cards have more cobras. So you can start with more cobras, but you're giving away a juicier card.
What happens then is that all the cards that have either 1 or 2 cobras on them just get discarded, and anything that has 3 cobras on it, and these are the cards that are either a 10, 11, a 12, or a 13 value, they get placed into the center of the table. This is the round designator, the timer basically in the game. If there are ever 10 cards that are out that have 3 cobras on them, that designates the end of the round. Now, the trick at the end of the round is that anyone's left with cobras gets negative scores. So you want to get rid of these cobras throughout the round. So once that is done, starting with the beginning, the starting player, each player is going to look at their hands, and they're going to pick 1 card to start the trick off with. Now, just like any other trick-taking game, when you play a card, everyone has to follow suit around the table. If you don't follow suit, you can play off anything that you so wish. So say, for instance, I play the red 2. The next player would have to follow suit. They would play a red 3 out of their hand. The next player would play a red 4. And this is, we've already set this up just to know what they might play.
Yeah, let's say then I would play a red 6 because I want to take the trick. Now, generally, I'd want to do this when I had more cobras, but in this case, I would win this trick, and I would score my 3 cobras that I took right at the beginning of the game for 5 points. Now, you might think, oh, well, you really wanted to score 7, but there's a whole nother strategy to score a lot. I could score like this, get another few cobras, score again, get another score again, instead of trying to hit that 7. Because if you push your luck and hit that 7, and then you don't win that trick, all of a sudden, you're going back down in points.
And it's really based on the cards you have in your hand when you want to score, right? You may have a really lousy hand with only low cards, so you're picking and choosing the moments that you can score that trick.
You want to pace yourself through the round so that you're winning when you need to, and then also so you're getting rid of your cobras by the end of the round so you don't have to lose those points.
So what happens here is David won the trick, number 1, because they had the highest number that followed suit, being red in this case. He would turn in all 3 of his cobras. He would score 5 points. This goes away. into the discard pile because it wasn't a 3 Cobra.
Right.
Again, remember, any 3 Cobras played go down to the pool. And then, this is the cool portion. This is when all the other players gain Cobras. You're going to add up the values of all the Cobras. So we have 1, 2, 3. You're going to take 3 Cobras and divide those evenly amongst all the losers
Right.
of that hand. So everyone who did not win that trick gets a Cobra into their basket. If there's any left over that do not divide out evenly, they just stay in that pool,
Right.
which will be added to in the next hand.
So those are from all of the losing players' cards.
Yes.
The winners' players' cards, like Jeremy said, always goes into the discard pile,
Yeah.
and then this happens. And what didn't happen here is none of them had 3 Cobras,
Yeah.
so that they weren't added to this this countdown
And
timer.
it doesn't matter if you're a winner or a loser. Anytime you play a 3
Right.
Cobra, it gets into that pool, and that counts as a timer towards the
What's
end of the
really
round.
cool too about that is you can kind of within the player's control to manage the round time.
That's right.
You know, so if you get a good lead, like I said, if you score a lot, then you can just dump off a bunch of high cards to get that timer done.
That's right.
And then hopefully stick people with some Cobras in their basket.
That's right. So whoever won the trick is going to start the next trick.
Right.
And you're going to keep doing this round and round until there are 10 Cobras on the board. Now, there is a card in your deck that everyone starts with.
The King Cobra.
That's the King Cobra. This is a black card that just looks like this. This card can be played once per round, not once per hand, or not once per turn, but once per round.
Right.
When it's played, it goes underneath your basket to note that you've played it for that entire round. You will get it back once the 10 Cobras have come out and you'll refresh.
Yeah, it's really cool because you can lay that out there and declare, I want to share the win.
Yes.
Or I want to share the loss.
Right.
And like we said at the very beginning, sometimes you want to win and sometimes you don't.
Right.
You know, so holding on to that card, I've found, is a really good thing to do.
That's right.
You want that thing in your hand during a rainy day, for
Yeah.
sure. If you use it early, then you're really at the strength of your hand.
That's right.
You know, you have to have some solid cards. You know, you don't want a bunch of cards in the middle. It's nice to have a nice range, especially some cards, low cards and some high cards, just like any trick-taking
Right, and
game.
it really acts like your get-out-of-jail-free card.
Yeah.
That moment when you don't have anything in your hand and you could be stuck with a lot of Cobras at the end of the round because you're seeing that 9's on the board, it's going to end with the next hand. This is your time to share in the win to get rid of those Cobras.
Exactly.
If we didn't mention, I'll re-mention it again. At the end, when there's 10 cards out here that have 3 Cobras, that's going to signify the end of the round. Anybody that has Cobras left in their basket's going to write down on a piece of paper how many negative points they scored per Cobra that they have left. You're going to keep doing this. Each new round, you're going to repick a new card. You're going to seed your basket with that many Cobras until the players have hit their designated end game, which is either 75 points or 100 points.
Right.
This is a really cool trick-taking game, David.
It is. It's clever. I like it a lot.
It makes you look around the table. It makes you interact with other players to see what they're doing. And it's the scoring mechanism is really, really clever in this.
Oh yeah, the Cobra basket, and I'm sure this game may have started off as some sort of variant with a normal deck of cards, but this deck of cards and the way they've put this all together, we have to say too, the graphic design on these things is excellent.
Yeah.
Like, I really think they nailed this. The card backs, the fronts, everything about them is really, really professionally done, nicely done.
Right.
But like Jeremy was saying, this whole mechanism with the Cobra basket, it's a totally different way of doing a trick-taking game for me.
Yeah.
You know, when I sat down to play this with you in a group, I didn't know what to expect. You know, I figured, in fact, at first I wasn't even sure we were going to be playing in teams. But it's every man for himself. You can play up to 5 players, which is kind of cool and unique.
Right.
And yeah, you're scoring your points. It takes a minute to get used to the fact that you're scoring your points with these Cobras. And like trying to get rid of them and like, oh, okay, I realize I want to try to get 7. But like I said earlier, you can get to 7, but then you can quickly end up over 7, which you don't want to be. So it's a lot of fun. There's some push your luck with the Cobra basket and a good, solid trick-taking game.
Yeah. So, guys, that is Cobra by Cardboard Edison. It is coming out very soon on preview on Kickstarter. Go check it out. Make sure you guys subscribe to Man vs. Meeple. Make comments below. Follow us on Twitter.
Like us on Facebook.
And all those other social aspects. And we'll catch you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Season 1 of Man vs. Meeple is sponsored by TMG Games, publisher of great games like Yokohama, Guilds of London, and the soon-to-be-released Colosseum.